Alright, welcome to the worst guide ever for the comparison between a Shadow tank and a Guardian tank. So I've been asked specifically which tank is better, and the only answer I can give you is it depends on what you're doing. So here is an example of a Shadow tank. We're going to start up here with a Shadow tank. First things first, we're going to wear the same gear. Everyone's going to wear the same gear. So the shield lives here. Let's see, the saber is going to probably be this one, and all the defensive gear lives right here. So there's tank, activate, rips it out, puts it in the right spot. So all this gear is on, all this gear is on, and the weapon is been changed out. Okay, so I am using the wrong tactical, but that's not important. That's just the one I use. So first things is first. Let's look at the stats. So let's look at the percent here. Take a screenshot, and let's do there we go. All right. So what we have here, the highlight of the day is going to be the shield absorption and defense chance and damage reduction. This is what matters right here. Okay. So we'll come back to this item. Alright, so we're going to increase the shield chance by using the ward. So I'm going to say you're going to have your ward up most of the time. Not 100% of the time. I'll go into that in just a moment. So what happens is, with your shield chance, let's re-screenshot that. With your shield chance, that means that 60% of the time, you will have a 45% of your damage will be mitigated that you take of elemental and internal. Then if we look at damage reduction, that rolls in first. So first goes the damage reduction, and it decides how much you're going to take. So let's look at each one and break them down just a little bit. So damage reduction, I don't need to do this twice because it's going to apply same for both classes. Both classes do the same damage reduction and the same they apply the same rules to damage reduction, defense chance, shield chance, and absorption. So first things first, pop the kinetic ward up, and you'll notice that it jumps to 60%. That's not it. There it is, 60%. And then if you stealth, you pop out of stealth. As soon as you pop out of stealth, your damage reduction goes up by 4%. So good thing to do. Make sure you're going up by 4%. It's a good thing. You're going to maintain that by using your glowing cascading debris. Not going to go into how to do it, but that's basically what you're doing. You're getting your glowing cascading debris, and you'll notice that if you stealth 4 and then go to 0, you'll notice that the internal and elemental are increased as well. So damage reduction is a good thing, very good thing. In fact, damage reduction is one of the best ways to mitigate damage for certain things. You just want that high damage reduction. It's delicious, it's good. Use your damage reduction. Defense chance. This is specific to white damage. So if you, for example, these classes here, they only do white damage. So let's look at them. You'll notice anything that says parry, it is a white damage. All the white damage things going on, parry. I can up that to 100% by just, they'll pretty much never hit me because I have defensive up. They're just going to keep missing. That is my defense chance. That is with my defenses. So if we look at, that's specific to the defense chance, that's white damage, nothing to do with yellow damage. Alright, shield. Now, with shield, you want to keep your shield chance up to 60%, because 60% of the time you'll take 45% less damage from melee, the white damage from those guys there, and some yellow damage. So notice if you hover over your shield, it says chance that incoming energy or kinetic damage will be reduced by your shield. Jump back up to damage reduction. You have energy and internal elemental. So internal elemental are not mitigated by your shield at all. So that's something to keep in mind. Do not mitigate elemental and internal from your shield. Only kinetic and energy, and only weapon damage. So weapon, force, tech, but it must be the kinetic and energy. Alright, both tank classes apply the exact same statics. Okay, so then your shield absorption, there's ways to increase your shield absorption. So notice if you have your 3% here, and then if you pop for example, battle readiness? No, that's damage reduction. If you pop your force potency, boom, there's your shield absorption. It's insane. It's crazy. It's amazing. It's like, it lasts for like 15 seconds, and its cooldown's a minute and 20 seconds, or minute and 15 for me, but a minute 20 seconds. It's a cooldown. Really, really good. You can see how long that shield. So 60% of the time, you're taking 75% less damage. Woo, it's amazing. Just absolutely spectacular. Still up. Still up. So notice it just fell off. Another way you can increase your shield's absorption is by making this number go down. So notice I have a 15 here. So now I want these guys to hit me. I want them to hit my shield. Please do hit my shield. Let's hit my shield. Let's get the damage reduction go up. There's my 13 right there. And as I'm taking hits, as I keep taking hits, that number will keep going up and up and up. So 60% of the time, I will mitigate 49%. Now 50% of the damage that hits me. Now this is back to 42. It resets that number. Boom, it's reset to 45 again. Go as I want them to hit me. Please do hit me. As you hit me, my damage reduction goes up and up and up from my absorption. Not my damage reduction. My absorption goes up. So I want them to hit me. So 51%, which is amazing. Now, if a couple of that, boom, 82% of the damage that comes in my way is mitigated. It is spectacular. Okay, so let's, and the other way is, I apologize, I missed it, your damage reduction. So your damage reduction can be increased with your battle readiness. So first of all, your glowing cascading breath, 4%. Also, just popping out of stealth. You pop out of stealth, boom, you've got 4% damage reduction. So pop it out. And then let's get a glowing cascading 3. You lose the 1, and you can just stayed. It didn't go anywhere. So now I've got 46% damage reduction. Still 46% damage reduction. Still 46% damage reduction. Otherwise, it would just fall off. The shadow protection comes from that ability. Also, you can use for damage reduction specifically. You can use your battle readiness. Boom, 67% damage reduction. So that's on top of your shadow rep. It comes from a glowing cascading tree. And you can use your force kick. 77% damage reduction. So just stat-wise, you can see that if you stagger the things that you have, the abilities that you have lots of stats, just straight up stats. Raw and naked and with ward up, let's say with ward up, raw and naked with ward up, you'll have doing absolutely nothing, and let's just pop out of stealth real quick. You have 46%, so this is our true screenshot right here. This is what you're going to be if you do nothing else than do glowing cascading debris. That's it. If you just do glowing cascading debris and you just do your kinetic ward up all the time, you've got really nice stats going up. And then your shield absorption will go up and up and up every single time you damage mitigation. Every time you shield, your absorption will go up by 1%. Okay. So that's about it for this class. This is just a brief overview of what the class can do, just to compare it with what the Guardian can do and will do, and why some things will be very good. One thing I did not go into is there are 2 cheeses this class can do, especially if you have Second Wind. I'm using a different cheese. You can use Shroud of Shadow, so what I'm doing is it rips off all my stacks of Kinetic Ward and applies them to my Resilience. So now I have 6 seconds of full damage mitigation from yellow damage. It's great, it's amazing, and it has a 1 minute cooldown. Good stuff. Also, you have your Force Cloak. It is a cheese. Force Cloak. If you take the Cloak Resilience, boom, you pop out of stealth, all damage taken for the next 2 seconds, and I believe it is yellow, I believe. It does a purge, and it does... It's Force Cloak, but because things can't hit you, it's the white damage can't hit you either. So technically it doesn't stop white damage, but because you're stealth, white damage can't hit you. So it's kind of a tricky thing. So it's a nice little cheese. The other cheese it can do is oh, that's it. That's it. If you have the 2 cloaks, you can cloak out twice. So that's really nice. All right, let's change over to the Guardian. There we go, naked, Guardian, same gear, we'll see, right there, there's the same gear. The only thing is the weapon is still in here, offhand is in here, so let's get that weapon and offhand onto the Guardian, and then you'll see as a sort of apples to apples comparison, not quite, there'll be a little bit less stats, but you'll see that in a moment. Guardian, same planet. And we're going to go loadouts, and we're going to go to Tank. Alright, now, I am using Grit Teeth as normal. Normally you would want to use Grit Teeth. What happens is you're attacked every 2 seconds. What happens, and you can see it happen, let's just attack these guys over here. Look at me. Hey, buddy, look at me. I pop a Saber Ward right away. And you see it's a 2-minute cooldown. But if they keep hitting me, that cooldown drops much, much lower. So, we want them to hit me. We want that to drop lower. It's great. It's amazing. It prevents 25% damage reduction, but it's also will prevent melee attacks from hitting you altogether. Alright, let's look at the stats for this class. So, as soon as combat starts, so you start out as a, you start out at like 44%, but as soon as damage starts, for some reason, you just jump. You jump in damage reduction. So we're talking about a raw 47% damage reduction, and as soon as you hit this ability here, which is not keybound, I don't know why, you hit this ability, boom, all of a sudden you have 60% damage reduction. That's literally hitting your basic warding strike. 60% damage reduction. It's good. It's really, really good. So if you wear different tacticals, it is possible to increase that damage reduction even higher. And I died. Impressive. Wow, y'all killed the... Yeah, okay. Alright, so we have so raw stats, we're looking at raw stats again. So damage reduction is, I'm sorry, not when combat starts. Combat starts goes higher. So 4% damage, 47% damage reduction. So that's already higher than what the shadow is. The shadow starts at 46%. Let's talk about execute stealth, and then the damage reduction from a tank starts at 47%. So we're looking at 1% more damage reduction. Defense chance. Let's slide this over. Defense chance, 22%. So it's lower defense chance. 29% defense chance. So white damage, that specific white damage, weapon or melee, is better on a shadow. Same gear, same gear. Shield chance, 46%, 60%. Already, it is better on a shadow. Same gear, again, same gear. And then shield absorption is going to be better no matter what, because as soon as that kinetic ward goes on, it's going to keep going up and up and up and up. There's really no way for a Guardian to... there's no way for a Guardian to increase the shield chance absorption very much. It is, I think there's a way like 3%, but it's not that big a deal. So what you have to lean into is your shield, your defense chance, and your damage reduction. So they did kill this character, but the Saber Ward is back, and what's more is you have a self-heal. So in this instance, I should have pumped a self-heal at the very end there, and it healed me. You go away. I don't want you to heal me. So if you notice, I'm doing Saber Ward, parrying all the white damage. They're missing me completely. Just cannot hit me for any reason. Poor Treek. Not healing herself. Anyway, as you can see, they're missing me completely. All the damage is missing. Now, that is with your Saber Ward. Saber Ward leans into your, as I said, your damage reduction a little bit, but mostly into your defense chance. You can also use a different tactical and increase your damage reduction quite a bit. Alright, so it's not a fair assessment to say that you're not really having it's not a fair assessment to just compare stats to stats, because stat-wise, this class is going to be pretty much garbage compared to a Guardian. Stat-wise, Shadow stat-wise is just going to be phenomenally better. The only thing where a Guardian does and can get better is the damage reduction. So the damage reduction for a Shadow can be increased with that one ability that has a minute and 30-second cooldown or something like that, whereas the damage reduction for a tank for a Guardian with this tactical or the Mikishi Horde Strike with this tactical can increase. So we see 47%, So let's jump in there. 63% because there's 3 enemies. We're 65% damage reduction for a short while. So the thing is, where the other class, this has the other class is not really beating the damage reduction. So 60% damage reduction, sure, 63 damage reduction. That's pretty high and it's consistent. So this is a damage reduction type tank. If we link on top of that, we lean into the Saber Ward. Boom. Notice I'm gonna pop the Saber Ward. And notice how it is ready. As long as I have force, I can spam. I'm hitting the 1 key right now over and over and over again. Every time something misses, every time it misses, I have a Saber Ward available. And every time I use these back to back, I have a Saber Ward available. So every time you see it glow, I'm using it. I'm smashing that key over and over and over again. Very effective damage. It's very effective to use with this class. In fact, this class's damage that it does is generally going to come from the Missile Post. It's pretty much where the damage is coming from. It's more than probably most of its damage. I would say close to 50% sometimes is going to be coming from that riposte because of this Retaliator package that it has. That is this, this Retaliator package. So it's a very good thing. I'm taking hits. I want to take hits. You can heal yourself up. Boop. Heal yourself up. It's just a different kind of tank. It is just eating all the damage, and it wants to take the damage, and it wants to do things. But stat-wise, a Shadow has 2 cheeses, and a Guardian only has the 1 Reflect. Has a Reflect, which is a nice cheese. It also has a way to reduce its damage reduction, and also has a way to do the Saber Ward here. It has another little tricky things here. Reduces all damage taken by 40%. So it doesn't matter. It could be elemental, it could be eternal, it could be kinetic, it could be weapon damage. It doesn't matter. All damage taken is reduced. So it's like a get out of jail free card. Plus your self heal. Focus Defense is a get out of jail free card. You can also take your I want to call it Mad Dash. It's not Mad Dash. Called Blade Blitz. There it is. Blade Blitz. You can take Blade Blitz instead. That's a good ability to get some other cheeses going. Some other you can like Mad Dash and cheese damage if you want Blade Blitz cheese damage. You also have a choke that does not give you damage reduction, and you have a Hilt Bash which does not give you damage reduction. Neither one gives you damage reduction, but it does give you an opportunity for 2 stuns. And if you want, as you just saw, I did a force push. That's 3-ish stuns, sort of. So you have an opportunity for 3 stuns. And I believe, yes, you can poke. You can spec into a 4th stun for Awe. I don't recommend it, but you can if you really want to. You can grab Awe for a 4th damage reduction. So a lot of damage reduction in this class. For a interrupt of sorts. It's sort of an interrupt, and not to mention interrupt is a short cooldown of 12 seconds. So a lot of things, a lot of tools in its kit specifically to increase the damage reduction, and a lot of tools in the kit specifically to interrupt and stop damaging from other players. In other words, control other NPCs. All right, so it's stat by stat comparison. Just as a raw stat by stat comparison. Just popping out of stealth. We're going to do popping out of stealth and damage reduction. We're going to see that a Shadow is better almost across the board. Is going to be better pretty much all the time. For just about any situation, just stat-wise. And you start popping those defenses and things. It also has some better cheeses. Now the healing it has is kind of lackluster. So the self-healing of a Guardian tank is going to be really, really, really nice. It has some nice self-healing. Not only can it heal itself from the tree, which a Shadow can do as well, but so you damage to taunted targets, generates 1 focus and heals you for 1% of your maximum health. That's really cool if you wanted to pick that in your tree. And also you can use Second Wind more readily. You can use Second Wind in here for each enemy that you kill. Would give you a little bit of health. It'd be a percentage of your health. And if you pop this just before an enemy dies, boom, you have fake health. it will increase the amount of healing you take from that person, that thing you killed, and that also has a cleanse. Um, One more cheese it has is the challenging call plus threatening focus will rip things out of stealth. So if anything was near you and it was in stealth, you can do taunt and then threatening focus. It rips them from into combat immediately right away. So, my assessment: which tank is better? The Shadow's better. Absolutely better in almost every way. Even if you want to do damage reduction, there's literally in every way stat wise and with its amount of cheeses. Not always the damage. The damage is actually going to be a little bit better for a Guardian because of the riposte. Every time the things miss, it's going to do better damage. It has a push. One has a push, one has a pull. And one final thing about the Shadow tank. If you want to take this, and I don't necessarily recommend it, but if there were a lot of ads and you had Second Wind on, for example, and you just wanted to increase your damage reduction instead of maybe your shield or whatever cheese you have, so I'm using the cheese one, what you could take is there is a tactical that does tome. Looking for tome. There he is. Tome. Every time you use the that's not it. That looks funny. It is it, but it looks funny because I'm not on Shadow. It's like giving me all the moves from an assassin. Maybe if I put it on, I won't have those. Alright, slow time regenerates redirected retribution stacks for every enemy hits, increasing your shield absorption and damage reduction by 2%. Okay, so that means another way to increase your damage reduction. So you have 42%, you're going to be in stealth, you're going to pop out of stealth. That's 46%. Now let's look at me, come look at me. You can hit 3 enemies. 52% damage reduction. So just like what the Guardian has with the damage reduction when using the Guardian side, it has a way to add that damage reduction. It's not as good, it's not as consistent, it doesn't last as long, but it is there, it does happen. So now I'm at 50% damage reduction most. So I would say in almost every situation, a Shadow is going to be better unless you are needing something extremely specific like 4 stuns, for example, with a Guardian tank, or that special reflect that it does. Other than that, a Shadow is going to be better statistically. Now, do I enjoy the Shadow? That's not the point. I enjoy the Guardian the most. That's my favorite. Guardian tanking is my favorite, but the Shadow is going to be better in a lot of ways, if not in almost every way. Anyway, that's all I got for you for the worst guide ever for the Shadow versus the Guardian comparison.